Are you looking for a good deal in real estate? Well, I'm going to tell you how to find them, or I'm going to tell you how not to find them and how not to get scammed. I saw on the news today that there's a gentleman in Winston-Salem area that is scamming people out of their deposit money, pretending like they're the owner of a property and trying to give people a good deal. So here's a couple tips and tricks of how not get scammed on a real estate deal. First off, if somebody is claiming to sell a property off of a website like Facebook, Craigslist, anything like that, then you need to check who the owner of the property is. How do you do that? Well, if you go to the tax department for the county that you are looking at the property at, for this one, we'll just say Forsyth County, and see who the actual owner of the property is. That's the name that needs to be on the contract. Now, whenever you're writing out this contract, it would be really helpful to know what you're doing, and you probably don't, but I would give you a big suggestion. Even if you don't want to use an agent, go talk to a real estate attorney. Why? Because you're going to have to pay an attorney anyways to get a deal done. So if you've got somebody that is desperate to sell and they're like, oh, just send me $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 right now and then we'll get the contract squared away, it's probably a scam and something that you should run very far and quick from. Another way to actually see if it's a scam is, do they have a contract? Do they have an agent? Is the property listed anywhere else? We're seeing a lot of times that we're getting vacant land that somebody is saying that they've moved out of the area and they want to sell this piece of property, and it's just a scam. And it is actually happening in realtors as a whole. We're now having to verify IDs and seeing who the actual real owner of the property is. Does it match up to the ID and all this fun stuff? Because, you know, scammers, they don't want to really work, but they aren't smart enough to actually figure out how to stop us for the most part. So if you also want some other tips of how not to get scammed on a real estate transaction, you might want to just look at the price. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Yes, there are all kinds of deals out here, and sometimes you can find one. A blind squirrel gets a nut every now and then, right? But for the most part, you Joe Schmo, you're not going to find that deal. It is going to be these investors that are beating the bushes, asking everybody and their brother, do you know anybody who's wanting to sell a property, this, that, and the other. So if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. The last tip that I'm going to give you today is that if you can't actually go into the property, so if the property says it's for sale or even for rent for this matter, and they say, give me the deposit and then you can come in and see the property. This isn't 2020, folks. We are actually able to go inside of a property. You should be able to go take a look at it before you actually put any money in anybody's hands. So if they're trying to get a check from you beforehand, it's probably a scam. If you got any questions or want to know what we think, if it's a scam or if it's a great deal, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy, not looking to be your agent. I am just here to try to help people out, and I am willing to look at any offer to purchase, look up names, addresses to see if this property actually is for sale and is for sale with that person. Let me know if we can do anything for you. Thanks.